Retro anime. How did we find it? How does it hold up? Unpacking the ins and outs of being an old school nerd and proving that 80s kids can't remember a damn thing right. These are the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd.
Welcome to Mindless Midlife Musings of the Anime Nerd. I'm Rick, and I'm joined by the rest of our panel, Brian, Lynette, and Vic. Hello, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
All right.
What's up, y'all?
So in this episode, we dust off our Kyokugenryu. I can't even say the word.
Look, why you even going through that much trouble?
Just let me do it, man. In this episode,
Why are you going through that much trouble?
It's for
Yeah, this doesn't
for the
deserve it.
walls. All right. In this episode, we dust off our karate skills as we join Ryo Sakazaki and Robert Garcia on their quest to find a lost diamond and save Ryo's sister Yuri in Art of Fighting. Art of Fighting is a Japanese animated television film directed by Hiroshi Fukutomi, animated by Studio Comet, and produced by NAS. It was the third animated co-production between SNK and NAS following Fatal Fury, Legend of the Hungry Wolf, and Fatal Fury 2, The New Battle. The film aired on Fuji TV in 1993 and received an English language release from US Manga Corps in 1997. The premise is quite simple. The anime follows Ryo and Robert, who must rescue Yuri from Mr. Big after he kidnaps her to learn the whereabouts of a valuable diamond.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Shoot.
We have talked about the different formats that movies can be released, right?
We
said there's feature length, and then we have next up under feature length is what would be like just an OVA release.
Yeah, like direct-to-video feature lengths. Just, yeah.
Direct to video.
Right.
Then we have a new one that you just said, which is direct to TV.
Directed, yes, as a TV film. Right. This is like, yeah, it explained a lot, like, after watching the anime and then kind of like going into it and being like, what's the history of this anime? And then understanding that it is a film for television. It was enlightening.
Or is it possible we're going to get like direct to broadcast, like public television? Do you think there's ever going to be something like that?
If there ever was, I think we just watched it.
No, I'm not talking about like you say direct to television. This stuff could have been done to like MC or some type of cable channel.
Oh yeah, no, this is Fuji TV. So no,
this was broadcast television in Japan.
Yeah, this was like airing on ABC this Saturday. Art of Fighting. That's what this was. Yeah. So now you got to remember this was 1993. This anime came out in Japan. We didn't get it till 97. We should have known better. But in 93, when this came out, they had just gotten their second Fatal Fury, which we had already covered, The New Battle, right? And then later that same year, they got this. I don't remember if Samurai Showdown, how that played in, but we all remember Samurai Showdown, for better or worse. So 93, we're talking about a different era of film, for sure. But we got it in 97. So, this anime came out during the height of VHS, and then it came out in America at the dawn of DVD. It's basically kind of where it landed.
Not to mention the fact that this is right during the whole video game series explosion.
Absolutely right. This is the boom of video game. This is the video game boom right now. This is the fighting game boom. This came out when fighting games were king. The explosion. That is exactly when this came out. This is at the height of popularity.
Everyone wanted to animate their own fighting game, and
everybody did. And
not very many did it right.
Before we get into the anime, I do want to talk a little bit about the game, because the game has its own merits. For a lot of people who are listening, you may never have played Art of Fighting. Hell, you may not even know Art of Fighting was an actual game.
Yeah, you would thought it meant like the Art of War by Sing Soon, man.
You might have known these characters from King of Fighters, maybe, because King of Fighters did reach a certain level of notoriety here in the West. So you might have seen some of these characters from it, but never have actually played the actual Art of Fighting game. We did have the luxury of having Art of Fighting machines down in South Florida during the early 90s. We played a couple different ways.
I'm pretty sure we got all 3 of them out there at the
I
time.
I can't say for sure because I'll be honest, never played all 3 in the arcade, but I definitely played Art of Fighting 1. And
Yeah.
And some of the interesting points that worth noting is you know them from King of Fighters, and then you'll be sad to know that it actually takes place in a completely different continuity. This game takes place in 1978, which is like roughly a decade before the Fatal Fury series takes place. So these characters exist in 2 completely like separate time frames. They should
You
never
gotta
have
be
met.
fucking kidding me.
100%. So when they did King of
Thank you
Fighters,
for-
they just wanted a way for the characters to be able to fight. So they just like a whole new continuity. The King of Fighters is his own thing. Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury are like a whole other thing.
So these
So-
guys are supposed to be in the 70s?
Yeah, 1978, right? So I'm thinking creatively, they could have used that in this anime.
No.
They didn't. So the game Art of Fighting is actually known for a couple of really interesting things that fighting games really hadn't done at the time. One of them was they introduced graphical scaling into the fighting game. So as the characters got closer together, the screen got closer, and as they got further away, the camera would pan back to a wider shot.
Right.
was
And they did
something
the
that-
same
yeah.
in Samurai Showdown.
Right.
and I
This
think
was the game
it.
that pioneered that technology and is really cool. And this is also one of the only fighting games where characters took damage. Not a lot of games did that. Well, these characters would take damage as the fight would go on. By the end of the fight, you'd be beaten and bloody. Really cutting edge stuff. And it's worth noting how innovative Art of Fighting was, because this anime was not.
Even remotely.
It hurt. It hurt.
Oh man. All right.
I don't know what y'all talking about. I thought this was phenomenal.
So those of you
There
who
we go. I just want to see.
those of you who do know Art of Fighting
There we go.
might have been starkly confused immediately when you saw that Ryo, the half Japanese character, titular character, was suddenly sporting black hair rather than his natural blonde hair. I tried, could not find a reason why they made that call. Not a one. No clue. They just did. And that's not the only place that they just stopped giving a shit.
The only deviation. The only
Yeah.
deviation.
Not even remotely. Where do you start with this?
It felt like the writers sat there and they're like, okay, give us the characters and the name. We don't need their backstory. We don't need anything. Just need characters and names. And then we'll
I
look
could
at-
say they made Robert Garcia look like Eric Roberts from Best of the Best.
But not even
even the best way.
respectfully. Not even respectfully. Like, this is him at like his lowest point, like after Best of the Best, when he started
Right, yeah.
drinking, or like, I don't know, like he was not great.
It's like Dan from Street Fighter was a better Robert than this Robert.
God damn it, Vic. I want to talk about Dan so bad. All right. So, all right. We got to talk about Dan a little bit. I promise we're going to talk about this anime. Art of Fighting is fascinating because it has this circular symbiotic relationship with Street Fighter. And it's so interesting. The team that made Art of Fighting apparently had worked at Capcom on Street Fighter. So when they came over to Art of Fighting, they did some nods in their game to the last game they worked on, Street Fighter. And then Capcom was like, that's cute. And then they made Dan, who's kind of like a homage to the characters from Art of Fighting. And then
In a
Art of
non-serious way.
yeah, and then Art of Fighting was like, that's cute. And then they took some more shit from Street Fighter and they put it on the character Yuri. And then Capcom was like, cute. And then they went and they took stuff from Yuri and they made Sakura. And it's just been this back and forth with the two development teams over a decade of them like releasing games. And it's so fascinating because Ryo was made as a homage to Street Fighter. Clearly, a
Yeah.
blend of Ryu and Ken. Blonde hair, orange gi, hero character, Ryo.
And then shoes, fights in the streets.
Right. And then they took those, Ryo and Robert, and then they blended him into a character homage in Dan Hibiki from Street Fighter, who is clearly Ryo with Robert's head. So it's this fun little thing. Any of the spirit, the creative spirit that went into this game and the Street Fighter series and the whole relationship between these two development teams, none of that exists in this anime either. None of the heart, none of the creative spirit, none of that is in this.
They didn't care.
I struggled with, I tried to, you know how sometimes I do try to put myself in the shoes of the audience, who is the intended audience for this anime. Because when it was released here, it was not marketed to an intended audience. It was just, it's a fighting game anime. It's slap it in a box, throw it in a Sam Goody, and it's going to sell like gangbusters.
Right.
And
you put it on a Neo Geo, here's the anime.
Yeah. And that was as much work as they put into that. And I dare say this felt like a Saturday morning cartoon special to me.
I can, like the US Street Fighter 2 animated series.
Yeah, that's what this felt like to me. Like it would have aired on a Saturday morning special after Saved by the Bell. You just finished your cereal. You're ready to walk out because Zach Morris did some more stupid shit. And they're like, coming up next, Art of Fighting. And then this starts. That's what this felt like to me. And 10-year-old me might have been willing to put up with it. But when I watched this, I was not 10. I was not 13. I was very much not these ages. And I hated it back when I first watched it. I was excited because again, we hadn't gotten much of it. We had Street Fighter, which I enjoyed. We had Fatal Fury, which I had enjoyed. So picking up Art of Fighting was like, all right, cool. Art of Fighting. I did not enjoy it back then. And I tried to pinpoint what it was, and I think that's what it was. I think it's that this was intended as like a Saturday morning special kind of thing, and I just was not in the right mindset for it. It was rough.
I realize now that we need to just go ahead and finish taking our money. So if all the listeners out there, please go ahead and continue donating your hard-earned butts, because we just decided that we're going to build a time machine so we can go back to when this was released and see exactly when they did it. Because if we find out that this was done on a Thursday night at 8 p.m., we're going to lose our shit. We're going to lose our shit.
Understatement.
That's prime time. You motherfuckers do better. You had Cosby.
Man,
You had Cosby. You had, I'm not saying Friday night where they had Urkel and Family Matters and Step by Step. No. You had Cosby. You had all Thursday night. And you put this there? How dare you?
This anime opens with a very long series of establishing shots of half-assed drawn cityscapes, and then a cat's ass.
I was wondering. Yo, look. I was wondering if this was going to be the thing you start off.
They didn't put anything there, but I was like, oh, that's what?
Yep, that was it.
They enjoy drawing animal buttholes for whatever reason.
They didn't draw this one though, because edited for TV. So
Which is
I
weird, but
have
look.
to say that should have been the hint about how the rest of the story was
You know they
going.
half-assed it
progress.
when they didn't draw a butthole.
Yes, you know the anime is not gonna be, the animation is not gonna be great if they can't even complete a cat's butt, because it's just an X.
Right, you don't need it's not
It's
much
just an
effort.
X. Nothing fancy.
Yeah. So it starts with a bunch of cityscapes that are half-assed, and then a cat's ass, and then our hero crawling on all fours behind it, precariously on the ledge of a building.
And they try to give everybody a booty shot. That does not work. Not work.
It's
I think this is going to be the one, Rick.
yeah.
Yes, this is the one. This is going to be the one where Lynette is going to unleash the Kraken. We are going to see her fury in all of its wonderful glory. Lynette, don't hold back now.
It's
Oh no, I'm not. Don't worry. I was
so this came out at a time where anime was going through its boom here in the States, and we had just figured out how to distribute this shit in a half-assed way. And everybody was taking a stab at it. Street Fighter had blown up. Everybody was desperate to get a fighting game anime out the door. Even though this was animated well before Street Fighter, it was released well after it here in the States. And I think that's just the sheer desperation of every studio trying to be able to cash in on that. Fighting games were
So-
all the rage at this time.
So, who are they coming after then? Who were the executives? Clearly thought somebody was an idiot. They think that us as the video game people were idiots, or I mean, who was this insult aimed at? It was it us at who?
I want to say the insult was on anime geeks, anime nerds, not even video. I don't think that the anime execs in that era had correlated the fact that these two markets coexisted.
Okay,
Right, especially being Neo Geo properties, which were already rare as is.
I feel like they just saw, hey, it kind of looks like Street Fighter and it's an anime. We should buy the rights to this and release it because we don't have Street Fighter and Street Fighter's doing extremely well over here. We need something. And
Right, but
And
you said
they-
it was Central Park Media distributed it?
it was Manga Core, yeah.
Manga
yeah,
Core,
yeah.
So yeah, you figure they'd know better.
You would, because they've
This-
released a lot of crazy shit.
No, this is the bag cereal in the grocery store anime. That's basically
That's
what
what
it
this
is.
is. That's
You don't
This
get
is the
Fruit
no-name
Loops, you
Brian
get
Fruit Loops.
Fruitios. You
I
get
want Street Fighter. We
Fruitios.
have Street Fighter at home.
Yeah. It was, I think it was, I feel really bad saying it, but I feel it was one of those, Americans are too stupid to really know what anime is, so they're
Yeah.
just going to like it anyways.
They'll like
And
anything.
that's
yeah.
okay, because they don't
that
have
was the question.
taste.
That
Yeah.
was the question I was asking, but it's hard to see that this was made for us because of the fact that they released it on Fuji TV. So
Right.
somebody they thought was stupid.
So it was us. They thought that the U.S. anime market was stupid. We were hungry for anything. We were happy to have anything. I mean, remember, this is the time when it's like Sailor Moon was successful on television here. This is the time when Pokemon was like getting its legs. Like we were as far they didn't care what the anime was. They just needed something that they thought they could sell. And I don't think, and we hadn't, as a fandom and as a market, we hadn't established like a hierarchy for this stuff. It was just a flood of whatever you could get your fucking hands on. As long as there wasn't a tentacle in it, we could release it to everybody. And our odds are somebody's gonna buy this.
It's one of those. If they'll spend a quarter for it, they'll spend $30 for it.
Yeah. And
They'll put a
I-
quarter in for a video game. That
They'll
should have been
spend
their
the
only
$30 to
criteria.
$40 for a single VHS tape.
Oh God, yeah, sure did. So
So,
yeah, that's what this
That's
was,
ass.
and it's not. The plot is so thin. It's just so thin, and
There
I
was
wish
no
I
plot.
could-
It wasn't one.
Yeah, it's. I wish I could say that that's the fault of the game, but it's really not. There's more to the game than Yuri gets kidnapped. Yes, Yuri gets kidnapped is one of the core elements of the first game, but it's not the only thing happening. And this Yuri gets kidnapped, and there's a diamond in an ice cube, because that's where I hide my diamonds. It's just. So I do want to ask. All right, so it starts with Rio crawling across a ledge, chasing down a cat, and losing the cat, and then some light breaking and entering. It's
Well,
like-
no, we gotta talk about the.
I would say
the
major
appearance.
breaking and entering. That
We gotta
by
talk
the
about
end
the
of it,
appearance of how Robert comes on the scene.
Right. Robert just pulls up in his convertible and just like haphazardly just, oh, hey, I do believe that is my childhood friend crawling across the ledge there.
My childhood rival.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. You know, his Ken, as
Drives
Ryu
up and is not a Ferrari.
is not, yeah, and his
Yes.
not a model sports car, and then proceeds to heckle him a little bit, and then yeah, he loses the cat, and then we go with some light breaking and entering. That
Actually, you have to talk. No, we have to talk about how they letting us know that these are karate masters.
oh god, do we have to? We have to.
Wait, look, you made me watch it. You're gonna give me all the fucking deets.
Stop right there. Now,
Rio, I keep
Rio-
on trying to say Rio
Rio
falls.
falls. He falls.
Falls.
He falls off the cliff. Not the cliff. He falls off the ledge of the building.
Due to
And-
shoddy masonry.
Dude, yes. Clearly, Southtown is just a real slum.
It's a real cat's ass.
It's the cat's ass, and he plummets, which if it would have been to his death, you know, okay, but I mean it was only like third story. It wasn't like the fall would have killed him.
Right?
Back on track. Rio, he's plummeting to his death, and Robert Garcia, his rival and friend, rather than doing what any logical human would be, oh my gosh, let me try and catch him or break his fall or at least get out of the way so when his head hits the pavement, I don't get blood on my expensive clothes. None of these options were chosen. Instead, he does a flying vertical kick.
He went with the 1960s kung fu option.
I think his choice was, I'm going to kick my friend and put him out of his misery. I think that's what he's going for. Just gonna break his neck midair, and then that way the pain of the fall won't affect him. So he does his flying kick. This move in the game?
No.
No, it is not. So and then Rio recovers while he's falling because he's cat-like reflexes from his Kyokugen whatever martial arts skills, and he kicks back at Robert, and then
And they touch tips.
their 2 feet touch tips in a romantic backlit gesture midair.
And they bounce away.
and they're smiling while this is happening.
Then Rio's fine. Rio lands and everybody's good. Everybody's happy.
That broke my brain.
This is how they showed that they're martial arts masters. Brian was correct. We did need to establish that these men had skills, that Rio was not wearing no shoes, a gi with a black shirt underneath, and a jacket on top of his gi for some reason.
May have been cold that day.
I don't know if you guys know this. Gis are notoriously very warm attire.
Oh, for sure.
Notorious.
Really are. You sweat a lot in them. So yeah, this is how they establish it. The kissing toe attack. It's a flying. It was dumb.
It was just bad.
Then
Yeah,
this is when
Rio.
we see
And
the-
they land in like pre-video game fighting positions. I don't. It hurt. The fight scenes hurt.
And then
Yeah.
that's when they come in with the title graphic, Art of Fighting.
Art of fighting.
Yes, that's what they
It's-
come in with that.
When I tell you that graphic looked like something out of a 80s Don't Do Drugs
Hey,
graphic.
I'll give you that, Brian. 1993. So I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but when you said with directed film, I was like, directed TV, I was like, oh, the budget
seriously.
wasn't there.
You're
This
ready
is
to
like horrible
TV.
because they had access to the actual game logo art.
Yeah, direct to TV explains so much about this anime. It
Mhm.
really does. It doesn't forgive anything about this anime, but it explains plenty. Yeah,
Explains
you,
all the things.
you get that early 90s TV graphic thing. And sorry, and then we get some light breaking and entering.
But we got light breaking in there.
Light breaking and entering. And I got to say Robert for all his wealth, he played to type because he walked in like he owned the damn place, and proceeds to raid the guys, whoever the fuck's place it was, raids their liquor
No,
cabinet.
you know what energy he was giving me?
Hmm.
You remember Count of Monte Cristo?
Yeah,
He was like Count Mondego.
yeah, sure, some Count Lundego energy. The fact that Robert isn't a villain is kind of surprising. So
There you go.
he
I
busts
think
into
he's
this
low
joint,
key villain.
right?
That's him.
Yeah. He steals the liquor from this person's house and then proceeds to get himself a glass of ice. They spent a long time on him getting himself a glass of ice.
It's like they overemphasize the ice.
Spoiler alert, it's an important plot point that he got a glass of ice.
He throws the glass out the window.
Right. Like it just Anyway, I want to write that off as that's like some rich dude shit. Like that's how rich dudes would behave. And it's the closest I can get to an excuse. Is that this is just how rich people behave. Yeah, he sees, he chucks the ice out the window. He sees King is outside the window. King is down there by King's car, and King is look, guys, I really liked King as a character in the games, so I was very not pleased with King in this anime.
You're doing very well not throwing me under the bus, sir.
I got you, brother. I love you. So
I gotta tell, I gotta confess,
go ahead.
though.
Go ahead.
This entire time, I didn't know King was a woman until this moment right here.
Until this anime.
Until this anime, I had no idea. To the point where I called Rick and was like, "What? King's a woman?" He hung up on me.
Man,
I
yeah.
honestly thought it was her apartment.
So at first I thought that too. I was like,
like-
oh shit, this is escalating. Was
So
it?
1 second, I just want to react to Brian real quick.
Yes.
That's how you know he's never played the game.
Oh, I played the
Because-
game.
No,
guess what?
because the female
played the game.
characters, when you beat them with a special move, it blows their clothing off.
Hey, I played the game, and that's how good I must have been at King because I never lost. I played King.
I always liked King. I thought King was a cool character. A Muay Thai badass. I thought anyway, I enjoyed King. But yeah, in this King was woefully underused.
And when she was, she reminded me of when I was learning how to play on an arcade, and basically I just stood there and kicked at nothing. And my brother's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm learning the keys. I'm learning the moves." Punching at nothing,
Right.
kicking nothing, and making weird noises with my character.
Yeah.
Jump, if she jumped into a wall, I was gonna turn the movie off and be like, "Okay, you know what? I think I know how this thing ends." But
Now you're just making fun of me.
no, seriously, that fight scene with her and the rich guy, I was like, "Oh, this is terrible." He just went to an arcade and said, "Let's see how the kids are playing." And on that day, they just saw a bunch of newbie kids trying to figure out how to work.
They
the
were just
controls.
sitting in the back drawing it. This is very educational.
The big
Yes.
it's you have a game, an anime, and you base it on a fighting game, and just like so very many of these that we've covered, it suffered from the same problem that apparently everybody who worked on the anime didn't know anything about fighting or fighting games, because none of the fight scenes in this are anything remotely close to anything that resembles actual Art of Fighting game fighting. It was pretty rough, and what are you gonna do? I watched this twice.
I'm
Ooh.
so sorry.
Why?
I did. I watched this twice. I watched it in English, and because the first time I saw it in English. So I rewatched it in English, and I thought, Jesus Christ, this dub is so bad, like really bad. Like, it's the reason why people think dubs suck. is because of like this anime, right? Like this is kind of an example of that. Whereas now one can argue dubs are extremely good, like generally. Like they do a lot of good work with dubs these days.
I would say
Not
okay work, but that's me.
not back then. They really didn't, and this is a prime example of it. So I watched it in English and I thought, I hated this. I still hated this. Maybe I'll hate it less if I watch it in Japanese. So then I went and watched it in Japanese. And it helped a tiny bit. It's just a teeny, like a smidgen of a bit, because the dub was really bad. And I was a little irritated because the subtitle file for our copy was kind of fucked up at first, but it did clear up eventually. Anyway, I digress. I watched this twice. Terrible experience both times. The Japanese
So-
saves it just a tiny bit.
Oh, back to King. King comes over and apparently she's just iron.
Right. So I do believe King was there to hunt for the diamond, right? That's the basic goal. King was there because she was supposed to find the diamond, but the apartment was occupied at the time. That's the best I can think of. And then she was just like, I don't feel like dealing with this shit. And then she took off. That's the best answer I have for her being there at all, other than they wanted Robert to have a crush on her. So that's how they handled that. Yeah. But that's okay, because then some goons show up to recover the diamond. A character from the game. He's in it.
Okay.
You know, he is a character from the game. What the fuck was his name? Was it Jack? That was his name, right? Jack Turner?
I
He said his
forget.
name like 3 times.
It did.
I am, and I
Was it
and I
Jack
blacked
Turner?
out each time because then they proceeded. I know it's bad when the dub starts to go whoa,
Oh, man.
whoa. I'm
So,
like,
yeah, Jack.
oh,
Yeah, it is. It was
like,
Jack.
oh
Sorry.
my god.
It's hard for me to remember all the characters because I don't care. So just don't care. I care
I
about
think
some
that's
of
the
the
last
characters.
character they had in there.
I-
I
They
think this is
did
the
just-
last character.
No, it's not. They did something so frustrating. So the whole main plot of the game is that Rio and Robert are trying to save Yuri from Mr. Big, who has kidnapped her, and key point, find Mr. Karate. Mr. Karate is secretly their master, the guy that taught them, and he's like wearing a kabuki mask, and it's like a whole thing, or not a kabuki mask, a mask.
A Tengu mask.
Thank you, a Tengu mask. Thank you, Vic. So it's like that's like a whole other subplot to this game, right? And then there's other characters in this game, like Toto, who is a rival to the Mr. Karate character. He and their master, Sakazaki, they were like rivals. So Toto is this like kendo guy. He's got like the kendo body armor, and he does like jujitsu and all this shit. And in this, they made him a fucking cop, which was really weird. Just a
Yeah.
really weird thing to do with this character, because I don't know why they did that. Just
You have a cop running around
with the
with a bokuto
Mhm.
kendo armor and
and just screaming around like he's
3 days.
oh Jesus Christ!
It was awful.
I was like, how
rough.
can
gotta
are you
point out
taking
something.
this man seriously? I think
Yeah.
he should be committed.
So-
I know we are jumping all over the place, but
We are, and I apologize,
But I-
but this
no,
doesn't
look,
this doesn't deserve
would
a
just go- I
straight
would
watch
say-
through.
look, I would say we will be better served at just taking time and let's just talk about the top 3 things that piss us off in it. We don't
right.
need to give people the rundown
I
because
don't
guess
think
what?
we do.
No, we're just gonna piss ourselves off even more.
We've made it abundantly clear that this sucked ass. So
That's an understatement, but yes.
So it does not deserve us giving it our wonderful
A full
Plot.
rewatch breakdown? No, it doesn't need a
No.
full rewatch break. It's
No. Maybe the first thing.
I've already explained more about this plot than you need to know. Mr. Big Kid kidnaps Yuri.
That's it.
There you go.
Somebody hid a diamond in ice, which is a terrible place to hide your diamond.
Which got thrown
Even
out the
if the
window,
generator is
and
plugged
no one
in
found the
outside.
diamond in the street.
I just
And no one found it in the
no one-
middle of the Southtown's supposed to be like a ghetto, right? I'm telling you, if you throw a diamond out on Baltimore, any street in Baltimore, you're not gonna find it. You
It's
throw
gone.
your
Doesn't even have to be real.
fucker's gone.
it's gonna be gone. You know, they take your car on a Saturday afternoon just because they feel like it. You threw a diamond out there, they're gonna pick up the diamond, come to your house to see if you got more. And
Now, mind you, 3 days have gone by. So
Yes.
the thing,
Also
the thing that allowed them to illuminate the diamond has happened 3 times already.
Yes,
The sun coming up and rising has
giant-
happened 3 times.
the giant fireball like traverses the sky. Oh my
That
god!
was,
All right,
that
so
was
Brian,
actually that fireball was actually from Ryu when he was
That's
fighting M.
right.
Bison. He shot it up in the sky,
just
and
went-
that's how they got the sun. Southtown.
So, all right, Brian, I liked your thought exercise. The 3 things have pissed you off the most about this anime. Go ahead.
All right, number 1. I actually noticed something statistically, and I didn't know if anybody else would have noticed it. It was at 8:33 when they're driving through the city. They just repeat the buildings.
They had a rolling mat, yeah.
Yeah, that was a common save money feature back then.
Good job.
Well,
Well,
Liz.
well noted. Well noted.
All right. Then they break down the characters.
Yeah.
Robert is 21
Mm-hmm.
and Rio is 19.
Mm-hmm.
And Rio owned the karate dojo, and Robert is driving around a Ferrari.
Right.
And their sister is also 19, but they're not twins.
No, they're not.
Okay, that just pissed me off.
Her age changed in the anime.
Yeah, because she's the younger sister,
Yeah, her age
Yeah.
changed
not the
in the
same
anime,
age sister.
and I think they did that like accidentally on purpose. Like in the sense of like she started out at one age, and then they had to age her up because shit was getting a little too real, and they're like, we can't, like we got to age her up.
Yeah.
So then they just created a new age. Go
Then,
ahead.
and the final thing, I don't know why it bothered me this much, but why is Yuri's eyes square? Why are they square?
Man. It's
The animators did
decision.
not care.
Yeah,
it's a
It's
good
a
question.
decision, and I got to give you a bonus one.
it's because every time someone put their big old hand on her head, it squished her a little. That's why her eyes went square. Because
Way to go, way to go.
apparently her head is proportionately the size of a grown man's hand.
And it's hilarious because Yuri is a playable character in the games after the second one.
Right.
Or from the
I
second
will
one on.
say, this girl just don't know how to get out of the fucking way of danger, does she?
No, she
No.
doesn't.
No.
She's easily kidnappable. Like, seriously, had this been the movie Taken, Leon would be like, bro,
It's like,
just
again?
fucking freed you. Just fucking freed you.
Fair.
Come
Yes.
on.
Yep.
And all you have to do is grab her by the head, and she's done. Is that in
Yeah,
the
she does
is that
that-
in the fight?
Apparently, she didn't
Is
take
that in the
karate
games?
at all.
Is like her weakness the head grab?
None of this
Like-
shit. There's nothing. Nothing about this.
Nothing.
Nothing about this.
It's like no,
The
don't get
game.
it twisted, Lynette. None of this is in the game.
None of this.
I apologize. I know I said 3, but I have
You
2
good.
more.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I feel like that's fair.
All right, so Robert goes to rescue her, right? Has a wonderful conversation with King, and then she takes him back in there, and he just pulls out a fucking grenade. He
Uh-huh.
doesn't try to art of fighting. He does.
None of that.
just-
No.
He just escalated that shit to grenade and arsenal.
I did a flying eagle kick thing in the first act. I'm past kicking. At this point, we're going full guerrilla war.
A grenade.
And apparently a simple bulletproof glass will handle a grenade at point blank range, basically, from where he's at.
And we need to point out that I think Rio is part bird because he couldn't see that there was glass between him and his motor.
Yeah, definitely at least part pigeon.
And finally,
the clearest foot thick glass in the history of the world.
and my final thing, it wasn't really something that pissed me off as much as it pissed me off. But it was an ode to Blues Brothers. With the car crash scene. I'm like, oh, you guys are fucking assholes. But
this is yeah. It's very upsetting for me as well, and mostly because I give SNK a lot of credit with their games. They have a very robust story surrounding their characters. Their characters are generational. Like, you have fathers teaching the children age up in the games, and then they're fightable, playable characters in the games later. Like, they're
That's where you
really
went
good
wrong.
about that.
This wasn't SNK, it was TOL. Please continue.
No, Brian, I can't continue. You have to say what TOL is.
It's just the next letter down from SNK.
God damn it, I love you.
We have SNK at home.
We have to come up with a name. That's the SNK at home. And it's so frustrating because as fighting games have very thin plots. Notoriously, they're not overly complicated. M. Bison wants to take over the world. You know, you're trying to stop him from building an army of Street Fighters, kind of thing. Everybody's got beef. He killed Charlie. You know, like all that shit. It's all very thin. It's very Enter the Dragon-y. But SNK tried like hell to create generational storyline. That's why they separated these things by like decades, and like they, you know, so as much effort as they put into trying to make a coherent storyline out of a game where people literally beat the shit out of each other.
We don't need this.
Yeah, the
We
anime
fuck that
properties
shit.
are
We
like,
don't
the
are
anime
you
properties
smoking
like-
crack?
You want to make an anime out of this? And they read the back of the box and like, absolutely. They tossed the box over their shoulder.
didn't even open the manual, just the back of the box.
That's it, just the back of the box. Do
They
I have
just
to
really
put something about 24 megabytes? No, perfect. They didn't even.
Do they have to know it's 2 players? No, they don't. Good.
It's, awesome. To me, that's my chief complaint about this, is you took something that you could have, much like Samurai Showdown, you took something with a very interesting premise, something that you could have had, Samurai Showdown in particular, but like even this, you took something that could have had a very interesting premise. It's set in the 70s, the late 70s. You could have made it like era specific, and that could have been interesting in its own right. Like, there's so many things they could have done with this, and they just literally,
Ignored it.
I swear to God, they read the back of the box, chucked it over the shoulder, and just made an anime. That's honest to God with this.
Well, the only thing I knew is that art of fighting. That's it.
Now, you
It's
want to
like-
know
it's not-
something even worse?
What's that?
The director.
God damn it.
Was it Hiroshi
didn't-
Fukutomi?
I did not do a credit crawl on this, so I'm glad you
Okay.
did.
So this is why I severely hate this for 2 titles specifically.
God damn it.
Besides doing this, right?
Yeah.
He was also the director for the first Fatal Fury anime,
Uh-huh.
which
Okay.
wasn't bad.
Right.
He was
Ish.
the director on Battle Angel.
What? That's just a crime.
This.
I mean, he's done not a ton of stuff, but he
This
did
was-
Battle Angel.
He was contractually obligated.
Oh my.
This is like he owed the mafia, he owed the Yakuza a favor, and this is what it ended up with.
Oh no, you could tell. Look, Battle Angel came out first, right?
Let's see.
I'm
Art
pretty sure it
Hiding.
did.
I'm pretty sure it did. I too. see, Battle Angel was what, 93.
So same year? That's what it was. He put all his energy
He put
into
effort in
Alita.
Battle Angel.
All his
He
energy
put
into
his effort in
Alita.
Battle Angel, and then after Battle Angel, he had to do Fatal Fury, and then after Fatal Fury, he had to do this one.
Fatal Fury was
Yo,
92.
So he did
Huh?
Fatal Fury first.
He did Fatal Fury, then Battle Angel, and then this.
That's what happened.
So
is
he was like, I
He was
hate
stretched
this.
thin.
No,
Man.
I hate this. I'm gonna make the one I really want to make, and do you bring me back in for this type of bullshit?
They should just be honest. They let the
He
assistant direct.
You know it. Like, yeah, he showed up on set. And he's like, what are we doing today? Like, oh, we're animating a fight. All right, cool. Your coffee.
He is he an alcoholic? I need to know. I could use a studio Ghibli about his life and these 3 movies, how he made it. Because saddest thing, it'll be Saturday fucking Grave of the Fireflies.
Because I can tell you this much. So this was released on Fuji TV in December of 1993. Battle Angel was released in August of 1993. So it literally a few months apart. So he was working on either both projects simultaneously being animated or based on how fast anime turnaround was in the day. He did one and immediately did the other. So this is
Oh
just
my god!
Did he outsource this one? I feel like he might have outsourced this
Either
one.
that, or he worked on Art of Fighting when he should have been asleep.
right.
Or
I
on
know
Battle
what he
Angel and he was
did.
awake.
I
Is
know
he
what
still
he
alive?
did.
When did he die?
He got
Just tell
the
me he died in
animators for-
1994.
No,
No,
it
no,
shows
no.
that
I know
he's
what he did.
still alive.
Lynette has an answer.
He got the G.I. Joe animators to get into this one. That's what he did. He said, I don't have time for this. America outsourced to us. I need to get the storytellers. We're going to outsource to America. America did G.I. Joe. It did okay. And so they went and they had
Let's
them
get that
do.
team.
He
Let's
brought the
get
team
that
that did G.I.
team.
Joe, and the other half of the team did Gem.
Oh, Christ.
Hold on,
yeah.
Lynette, you could have said Jim. You didn't have to hurt us with G.I. Joe.
Oh, I'm
There's
going
no
to
need.
G.I. Joe. Oh, yeah.
Look, Lynette.
I have a vendetta against G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is good. Me and G.I. Joe are like me and the six fingers, like Ego Montoya and the 6-fingered man. That's basically what it is.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Hey,
Every
Lynette,
chance I get.
Hey, I know we said release the Kraken, but maybe pull back some. Say
Tone it down a
something.
little.
Take it from 11. Let's go to 8. Let's go to 8. Don't go full bedlam.
Oh my gosh. So this dude, he directed Fatal Fury. That came out in December of 92. And then he did Alita, which came out summer of 93. And then Art of Fighting, winter of 93. So he was very much sandwiched. I think it's clear that he had nothing left. He had nothing left to give.
Seriously,
Truly.
he walked into this is a dark time. Like sake on his breath. He was just smoking the unfiltered cigarettes. He was looking for a way out.
That's rough. That's dude, I did not do a credit crawl on this. I just couldn't. I didn't have the strength. I was like, I just don't care.
Yeah, and he directed anime till 2011.
Damn, he's busy dude.
Did he get better?
Did he get better? I think he peaked. He peaked early. He peaked at Battle Angel.
Looking at this, I think Battle Angel may have been his peak.
Man.
I mean,
That's
granted, a lot of the
something
other stuff on his credits on IMDb I haven't watched, but
yeah. Well,
yeah, we're not be doing a studio this guy, are we?
No,
Nah,
we're good.
We're not. If we've seen 3 of his films, and only one is even.
one was okay, and one was phenomenal, and the third one was trash.
Between this, between the fact that he clearly he was phoning it in for this one, and just like everything else about there, he clearly had no budget. The budgetary constraints between this and a Battle Angel had to have been massively different. They just had
Oh
to.
yeah. The
He
budget
went
for
from
this must have
here,
been,
Yeah.
from
lunch
here
at
to
7-Eleven.
here to
They're
like
like,
no. Oh my god, I feel
they're like,
bad for him now.
here's $18 million, make an anime. He's like, Battle Angel. They're like, cool. Here's $18, make another anime. It's like Art of Fighting.
Oh no,
That's enough to
Oh
get
my god.
onigiri for the team at 7-Eleven.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Explains a
We've been
lot.
going in on him, but my heart goes
We
out
have.
for him now.
I had to write at this point, he's a victim.
Right? Sealing that? Don't you feel bad at him? Don't you want to take back that whole G.I. Joe thing?
Nope.
He
'Cause I
gave you
think he
Battle
really did go
Angel.
to.
He gave you Battle Angel.
Yeah, it was like he gave one of the favorites in the anime world and one of the worst.
Fukutomi-sama, we're very sorry for you. You have our love and admiration, and our pity.
Yeah. We you know what? You are not the cat's ass. You're a cat's head. You are the cat's eye.
Actually, Brian, he did direct a series called Cat's Eye, 83 to 85.
Correct. He really didn't give a shit.
Actually, Cat's Eye was well liked.
Yeah.
No.
that-
This is what he felt. He said, I did cat's eye, and you're making me do this shit. I'm giving you the cat's ass. No. I'm not even going to give it to you.
He's gonna
Oh,
half-ass the
man.
cat's ass.
I'm a
He
half-ass the cat's ass. I did cat's
Absolutely did.
eye. Damn it.
They could have very easily had tied this into Fatal Fury, which had succeeded. Hungry Wolf was a success. And characters from Fatal Fury, specifically Geese Howard, showed up in Art of Fighting. So they could have,
Well, Ryo also showed up in Fatal Fury Special as a hidden boss.
yeah, absolutely. They could have very easily made this a very interesting anime by tying it into an anime that had already succeeded.
Look,
And they didn't.
You think that, but
Again, the writers didn't care.
I, honest to God, I feel like, yeah, that's all there is to
Look.
this. And they're,
look, say what you want, but we gave Terry shit for losing all his fights.
we did.
Te-
But that was two.
Look,
In the first
Andy,
one,
Terry, that's the one we're talking about, right? Terry would have dog walked him. Look, I will go so far to say, Tony, the guy with the one pants leg,
yeah,
lean and short,
uh-huh.
he would have dog walked all these motherfuckers.
Again, part two. We're just dealing with the first one, where the Jeff Bogart grabs a kid and tries to put the kid in the way of the bullet. Like, it wasn't a great anime. Lily took a head dive and bounced. Remember, like, it wasn't.
She would have dog walked him.
It's
She
not.
She would have dog walked Yuri.
Like, let's all remember, like, Fatal Fury 1 was not amazing.
It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't horrible. It was
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, we barely talked about the anime. Shit happens.
We've been on it for about an hour, and we spent maybe 10 minutes on the anime.
We got to wrap up. So shit happens. They rescue Yuri. They find the diamond because they look outside and there's a little sparkle in the crack of the sidewalk, and they find the diamond. The Toto, the cop who was actually supposed to be a kendo martial arts master, he manages to capture Mr. Big in his 3-day timeline. He's very excited about this. King is useless. Nothing happens with King. They don't use King in any way that matters. King does not get a relationship with Robert. He gets her number. I think that's maybe the extent of it. And that's by a pool.
As she's going to jail.
As she's going to jail.
Yes.
So pretty much you're already number.
That's
That's what she. Yeah, that's the.
Anyway.
It wasn't your fortune that got it for her.
No, it was
But-
you're her call. Like, you're her
Right,
one
right.
call. I need my phone call. She calls Robert. Besides that, what else? None of the other characters matter. Mr. Big is laughably underused and not a threat in any capacity. And Rio starts the anime in exactly the same place he ends it, with absolutely zero character growth. This anime sucked. It sucked ass.
Time.
let's final thought it, shall we? I feel like that's kind of final thoughty, but I'll let you guys have a stab at it. Vic, you didn't get to talk much. Go ahead, tear into this shit.
I mean, we described exactly our final thoughts in the past hour already. This was just a heaping pile of garbage, unfortunately, which is
Come on,
sad
you could do
because
better. Come on,
the
Vic. You could
series
do
is
better.
the game series is actually really
you could
good.
do better.
The
Dick
director
Vic.
did Battle Angel and still directed this piece of garbage. It's like my feelings are crushed. I am hurt.
Yeah,
It's like they wanted to hurt me. I
Come
felt
on,
like
Vic.
this is a personal attack, and
Let
I
her rip.
blame.
Let
I'm
her
letting it
rip.
rip.
that's amazing.
I
Let
blame
him
the
rip.
studio. I blame the writers.
This is
Get mad.
so Vic.
Hulk
We are
smash this bitch.
we are firmly in the camp of under no circumstances should you watch this. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. All
It's
right.
a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. And if this movie were to disappear off the face of the earth, even as lost media, it's not worth much of anything.
I feel like it has. Like, I don't think this ever got another release after its 97 run.
After its DVD release, I think in the early
Like, that was
2000s?
it.
That was it.
Yeah, I don't
I'd
think
say.
it ever saw the light of day again. I think Lynette has it on Laserdisc. So anyway, Lynette, it's your turn. What do you think of Art of Fighting?
Before you how you coming along with your Yuri cosplay?
Nope. It's just a sock. 'Cause that's what he needs is a sock.
She cut out some square eyes. She's gonna put them over her face.
It's a sock puppet, you know? No, I would not
Just
recommend
no.
this.
Lynette's
I-
review. No.
I mean, the helicopter explodes, but surprisingly, there's still water and a pool left over. I don't know how that happens. And it ends with police officers going for a Saturday swim in the
Yeah.
thing. And that to me, let me know the quality of this movie. I watched it. I started it in Japanese with subtitles.
Yeah.
I turned off the subtitles because it was a little painful, and I figured if I
was.
could just guess at what they were saying, maybe I can pretend and know the audio myself. So I the self dub, and I think it worked out better than the actual dub because once I turned on the dub, I just kept going, "Oh no, no."
That's yeah.
No. It's bad. It is very, very bad. And the sister and brother have kind of like a sibling romance going because she runs to his chest and he's like, oh, and I'm like, that tone is a little
It's
weirdly
weirdly
making me
affectionate.
uncomfortable here. But yeah, I'm just gonna say big fat no.
Big
Don't
fat fucking no.
yeah.
All
Know,
right.
everyone knows how much I don't like G.I. Joe. I would say go watch G.I. Joe. I would recommend G.I. Joe before I recommended this show.
It's so great.
Does
Brian,
that help, Brian?
I loved it. I loved that so much. Brian, it is your turn. You have to follow that. I'm making you follow that. So unleash.
All right. They actually give me the one thing that I always ask for. Good ending.
An actual ending, like an
An
ending.
actual ending. They actually give you an actual ending. You find out that he's looking for not the same cat. Could we even mention this part because we said fuck the
It
story.
really didn't matter.
The cat that he was looking for was not the cat he should have been finding.
Wasn't even the right cat.
Nope.
So it's not like he got rid of the cat. They kept the cat and named it after the diamond they were looking after.
That's right. There you go.
So somebody did get character growth. The damn cat.
The cat got character growth.
So
So Brian, a
Even-
better ending than some anime, I suppose.
it's a better ending, but even that pissed me off because I was like, these guys could do it. How come nobody else can?
You know what that was, Brian? That was there's never going to be a sequel energy, and they knew that. So they're
Yeah.
like, we have to give it an ending.
Enough.
Especially since the last
enough.
home release in the US was in 2003.
So it really did die off. It is really lost media at this point. So you want this, you're going to be sailing the 7 seas, my hearties. It's a yeah.
No,
And you don't
no.
need to. You don't
Look,
need to. It
look,
can
look,
stay
look.
at the
We are
bottom
part
of
of your
Davy
private
Jones'
crew.
locker.
You will not paint our ship
No. No.
with this cargo.
This can go to the bottom of the locker and it can
Oh,
stay
I don't
there.
recommend it at all either. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
don't know if that
I
didn't
don't know
come
if you'd
through.
made that clear. I feel like I was glad you clarified though. I was kind of curious.
I mean, if someone really, really, really wants to throw away their money, it's available like in the $20 range on eBay.
That's too much money. That's
agree.
way too much money for this anime. This needs to be, you get it for $1 at Dollar Tree. Back
And
when it
still
was
feel like you
$1.
got ripped off.
And then, yeah, it needs to be the Dollar Tree DVD bin, because they have some Blu-rays there too now. It needs to be the Dollar Tree Blu-ray bin.
No. You said it right.
No, it's
Not
good.
Blu-ray bin. Not Blu-ray bin. The DVD bin.
The DVD bin.
It needs to be in the
No.
DVD bin.
I'm just picturing the guy from Squid Game when they flip the paper, and instead of smacking him, they hand him this movie. Every time you lose, you get a copy of this
You
movie.
get a copy of this. You're forced to watch a copy of this movie. It's a shit show. It's so bad. It's a perfect example of terrible writing, terrible directing, terrible acting, terrible choreography, terrible voice acting, terrible. Just it's terrible in
People should have known better.
every regard. Clearly, thanks to Vic's credit crawl, by people who should have fucking known better. And
It's like zero effort was put in by anyone.
this is an anime you show people if you don't want them to like anime. This is, I need anime to not be your hobby. It needs to just be mine. Let's watch art fighting together. They will never watch anime again.
Not Nan's special move was ever used.
No, there's nothing. No moves. Nothing. This
They
is
were
terrible.
beginner kickers. They they didn't even hit anything when they kicked or punched.
It's like their
Jesus.
only skill was to, kick each other and touch toe tips. That's it.
Don't watch this. Just don't watch this. Don't watch it. Don't download it. Don't find it. We suffered through this for you, our loyal listeners.
And look,
I don't recommend this. As a fan of the games, stay as far away from this as possible.
and I'm gonna go so far as this. We watched the social media feeds on you old school vintage. The first time I see one of you guys say that not Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting with the shit, I'm going fucking in on you.
Do not post about this. Don't even bring it up. Let the internet forget it existed. Just do that. Just do that.
That's the only way to do any justice by the series.
It doesn't.
Mhm.
If anybody's like, "Hey, have you ever seen the Art of Fighting anime?" Just show them the game. Be like, "I played Art of Fighting." No, have you seen the anime? I played Art of Fighting. That's the only answer you ever need.
No, just
Like,
gaslight him.
this-
There was no anime.
There was never. They haven't made an Art of Fighting anime.
It's like when people talk about Shazam and Kazam about when
Right,
Sinbad
yeah,
was
yeah.
a genie
That's
and
right.
Shaq was a genie. We've never seen Sinbad as a genie.
Oh, no, there's never an Art of Fighting anime. What are you talking about? It was on right after the Berenstein Bears. So yeah, don't do this. That's a wrap, guys. This may be a rare one for us where we covered almost none of the anime. Just
Right.
We had to do it.
all right.
So, just one small plus before the end.
Yeah.
SNK did announce they're working on a new Art of Fighting.
Yes, they did. A new game is coming.
Game.
A
New
game.
Art of Fighting.
A
You
game.
almost made my eye twitch.
Yes.
I thought you said a new movie was gonna come
No,
out. I was
game.
gonna be like, no.
Game.
After they finish up, well,
Babe.
they're working on it now, but you have the new Fatal Fury or the City of Wolves game
Which
coming out
looks
early next year.
Fire.
And then you have a new Art of Fighting in the making.
Yeah. All right, I'm in. I'm in. A new game, 100%. I wish they would make an anime of Art of Fighting. That would have been great if they could have made an anime of Art of Fighting.
That would have been awesome.
Anyway, that's gonna do it for our show. So until next time, keep calm and get consent before you touch toes.
You've just been privy to the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd, presented by Geek Grotto. For show notes and corrections or for general geeky fun, you can visit our website at geek-grotto.com.
If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, please like, follow, and subscribe.